thing actually work, or if I put it...
You gotta hold it.
I gotta hold it, huh? Oh my. You know, one of the things that John didn't say is I'm a Baptist preacher. And being a Baptist preacher, we're trained to speak at great length on nothing at all. And when you put a microphone in my hand, that temptation gets very, very great. But I did actually bring some notes so that I'll try to actually say what I'm supposed to say and be done in time. Thank you so much for bringing me here to speak to the Rotary Club here in Libertyville. And I appreciate the check. That was a surprise. When I realized that you guys were going to give us some money, I nudged John and I said, you didn't tell me this. He said, it's a surprise. So thank you so very, very much for that. And another thing is I'm a former member of the Waukegan Rotary Club. For a number of years, I was part of the noon club there. And so it's fun to get back to a bunch of individuals that place service above self. And as I was saying, I'm an American Baptist pastor and a professional chaplain and pastoral counselor and those great things. And for the last 20-some-odd years, been the executive director of Interfaith Chaplaincy Services. So I want to tell you just a couple of things today. One is a little bit about the history and mission of Interfaith Chaplaincy Services. And a little bit about what does that actually mean? What does chaplaincy mean at Winchester House, the county nursing home down the road here? So first of all, a little bit about Interfaith Chaplaincy Services. Now I know Al took me down memory lane here before the meeting because he knows about Interfaith Chaplaincy Services. Anybody other than Al ever heard of Interfaith Chaplaincy Services before? I got to do my market survey. Yeah, 2 or 3. Okay. So 45 years ago, this Methodist preacher, Reverend Ralph Smith, was looking around. He was serving a little congregation in Waukegan. He was looking around the county and realized there was a lot of stuff that needed doing in the county 45 years ago. And I think there were still buckboards back then. Is that true? I mean, I'm an Easterner. I don't know these things. But he realized also that the congregations in the county, none in particular, could handle these things by themselves. And even when they brought the denominations together, maybe the denominations themselves, this was a little bit too much for us. So he gathered up various congregations and said, what if we do some things together? And much like Rotary, his vision for that was not so much what we would call nowadays faith-based, as it was service-based. He really wasn't worried about what religious background you were. If you wanted to help out, that was good enough for him. And that's been sort of the character of the agency. It's been drawn from that sense of the religious sentiments of each and every individual in the county can come together to do good things. Okay, kind of different from some of similar organizations that have developed over the years. Among them, Ralph is sort of a religious entrepreneur. He liked to come up with ideas and see things happen and make things happen. What he would typically do is draw a bunch of people together, start a board of directors, give them a mission, and then he'd go on to the next project. He was a typical entrepreneur. He got kind of bored with his toys. One of the things that he started was the chaplaincy service. And the focus of the chaplaincy service back then was, in fact, the chaplaincy. What does that mean? He realized that the county jail, the county nursing home, at that time the TB sanitarium, the Lake County Hospital, St. Therese Hospital, Victory Hospital, Condell Hospital, Lake Forest Hospital, none of them had chaplaincies. And that was something that needed to be taken care of because, in fact, spiritual care is an important part of health care. We recognize this now, but this is sort of a cutting-edge idea 45 years ago when I was a child, and some of y'all weren't even born, right? And so that's what Ralph did. He got got some people together and decided that we should do this thing. Among those chaplaincies are the ones that I named. Now, over the years, some have gone out of business. I mean, Lake County Hospital doesn't exist anymore. The TB Sanitarium doesn't exist anymore. The Kylie Center is up and running, but we no longer have a contract with them. But for the most part, Interfaith Chaplaincy Services in some ways have been cursed by our successes. Condell Hospital has chaplaincy. Lake Forest Hospital has a chaplaincy. Victory Hospital, St. I'm not sure. They used to. I don't know what's going on with those hospitals right now. And so Winchester House has remained our chaplaincy for all these years, 45 years. And the way this works is the religious congregations and organizations like Rotary Club and individuals that are sympathetic to providing spiritual care for frail elderly women and men don't make donations to our organizations. We don't get any government funding. We don't get any United Way funding. We smell a little too religious for the United Way. And we don't really attract corporate funding so much. A little bit here and there, but not really the big corporate donations that other not-for-profit agencies can attract. So we depend on those, what I guess would be broad-based small gifts from various and sundry organizations. The core of that comes directly from religious congregations across Lake County. So that's a little bit about the history of the organization, very brief. Okay, who knows what a chaplain does? This isn't a test, I'm not going to ask you to prove it, but who knows what a chaplain does? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, a little more than.